Hey, what's up, you guys? Big man ting, yes sir. Let's just get straight into this video and talk about what we're about to do. Roll the clip. Okay, so for this video, I want to talk to you guys about the fighting arenas that I always said I'd go to. Now, I had some realizations about the arena recently, which baffled me because I didn't think it would be like this, but it is. So let me get right into it. So you guys saw me talk about the arenas last time. Now, let me explain to you these two stories of when I went to the arena recently. So I went to the arena about 2 weeks ago, and at this moment, if you guys have me on Instagram, you've seen some of my stories where I post about this raptor being that I was fighting, and it was in my basement and around the town. It was chasing me around and everywhere. And my guides kept saying to me, you can't fight it directly. You can't fight it directly. So I was like, what do you mean? Like, then how am I supposed to defeat it then? I didn't understand. And part of me was like, nah, like, you know what? Let me show them. Let me show them. But every time I would try to, I remember this is what it looked like. So I'm around town. I remember it's as real as this. And I was in this Astral Arena for, when I say how long I was in there for, this is in the time perception there. So when you're in the astral realm, depending on what realm you go to or where you go and what you do, the time moves differently. So of course I was only asleep for what? A few hours. But when you're in the astral realm, it felt like I was there for more than 24 hours. Going there and being able to be there longer than I really am there physically, it grants me more experience and wisdom that I can accumulate, if that makes sense. In this time when I'm in the arena takes place in my house and around the town. So this literal raptor is chasing me around and I can't defeat it. I remember it was growling in the basement and I was waiting at the door. My mom is just waking up too, so I guess she's not realizing that we're in the astral realm. And I'm like, Mom, watch out, it's down there. And you could hear it. She's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, it's right there. What are you talking? It's right there. And so I remember I had a fork. It was literally like a serving fork, and I was waiting at the door for it. And I'm like, whatever happens, happens. Whenever I went to the arenas before, I'd fight either astral projectors or I'd go to school, astral school, things like that. You guys see me talk about those. But these arenas were different. These ones were specifically for teaching. So that one I was fighting the raptor being, and I couldn't figure out how to beat it. So I woke up on my bed and I was like, oh my God, like, why didn't I just lure it out and then stick it with the fork or get my sword from out of my room and stuff like that? But they kept telling me you can't defeat it directly. And I didn't understand what, like, I'm like, how am I supposed to beat it then? How am I supposed to beat it, right? I didn't think that something like this would happen physically, that this was training for physical reasons. Now let me explain to you. So I had a situation with a very negative person, negative people who do not like me around the town for what I do. Now, there was a situation where one man did not like me. He was cussing me out and he was trying to get people around the town to hate me, as some of you probably know this story. And he was going around telling people that I'm a bad person because I'm teaching people consciousness, and that my work I'm doing with kids is horrible and that I shouldn't be doing it no more. And he was basically getting others to believe him. So then there was a lot of people, there was a situation where some of them all came up to me, and they came up to my house, pulled up at my house, and was telling me, basically cussing me out. And you know, I gave them a little 1-2, right? Gave them a little 1-2 ting, but at that moment, I was just chilling. I was like, okay, well, they told me to, like, don't fight it. Like, don't just, because they're not going to want to hear your side. They literally just want to cuss you out so they can feel big man ting, and then they're going to bounce, which is what happened. I asked them, I was like, is this just one-sided? And they were like, we don't give a fuck about you and what you got to say. Just don't come near us and our family no more. I was like, okay, bye. Well, good luck with your kids, because I was mentoring your kids with their psychic abilities. So good luck finding someone to help them. I realized my guides kept telling me, they're like, look, Cash, you can't fight this one directly. You can't fight it directly, but you can fight it and defeat it. You could checkmate all of this indirectly. How can I defeat this darkness that is spreading and trying to stop what I'm trying to do? And I realized you can't fight it directly. You can't fight it directly. I was like, oh my God, like, So the raptor, that whole situation in the Astral in the arena was prepping me to fight this guy and what he's trying to do to me, because he's literally like a raptor. The way he was going in, he was just aggressive, bro. He was just going at you and not even let you speak. And I was just like, okay, well, good luck. And I left it. I didn't realize that it was prepping me for that. Oh my God. There was so much more that happened that would make you be like, oh, but long story short, it was prepping me for that. And then the most recent one, I just woke up from one last night. I'm in the arena. This is what's interesting. I'm in the arena, and this arena, it's basically like a giant hotel. And it had everything I loved and wanted. It had a pure, like, crystal clear lake that you could swim in. And then it had a nice pool over here. And there's people all over the place. And a bunch of them are people I know, homies, even maybe friends that I haven't talked to in years. It was full of a whole heap of people, right? Now, I told you the arenas is like games. So that game with the raptor was defeat the raptor being. And I was like, I don't know how to do this, right? So it's even more fun because I'm in another world, another life. And again, it's just like this. So I'm exploring and I'm aware I'm in the astral, in this arena that's a game here. But I didn't understand how the game worked. Remember, you don't understand how the game works until you kind of play in it and then you get the rules explained to you. Just like Alice in Borderland, like I always talk about, okay? Just go watch that. Just go watch that. It was so fun because in the day, I could just go swimming, and there was, you guys know I love adventure too, so there was an area that you could explore in the forest, and there's like these abandoned houses. I'm outside, and we're having a little bit of fun. The sun's setting, and I'm like, why does it feel like something's not right? Something's going off. People started getting aggressive. I would go places, and people were literally trying to fight you. And they would do what they can to literally hurt you. And I remember I was with my friends, and my friend got hurt, and I'm there, and I'm like, oh my God, like, what is happening? And so there was a point where we were in the hotel and we had to lock ourselves in a room, and the people are like banging the door, and they're banging, they're trying to basically kill us. We literally had to sit there and wait for the sun to rise. When the sun rised, everybody was good. Everybody was fun, having fun, chilling. So then I was like, whoa, wait, maybe, what is going on? Nighttime comes around and then people get aggressive again. And at this moment, I was outside at the beach and people were chasing us. And there were some that were positive though. That's the interesting thing, is some were positive enough to fight with me. Just like my guides were telling me about the raptor being in that Astral Arena, they said you can't fight it directly. In this Astral Arena, they told me, look at who you could trust and who you can't trust. Because some of your friends are going to be enemies and some of your enemies are going to be friends. And I'm like, oh my God, what? So we're going on, right? We're going more. And we find a place where we could be safe, and we're helping people. We're finding people that are being attacked by these people that turn dark. And then the sun rises and everything's good again. You're friends with the homies that was trying to kill you, right? Everything's good. So this is when I started getting even more aware and doing more of what I would do physically. We're on the beach and everybody's having fun. It's a whole bunch of families at the beach. And I had my sword because I'm like, hey, we actually have to defend ourselves if they come around. So I literally had this sword on my back and we're running around the beach. And I had like 3 other friends and we're running. We're like, okay, we got to get ready for when the darkness comes again. And we always kept saying that, when the darkness comes again, or like the dark night, which when you look at it from a big perspective, it's getting you ready for the physical, because when the dark night hits, and this is what my guys are saying, they're like, when the dark night hits, you don't know who you could trust and who you can't trust. You need to figure that out from now. So there was a lot of people who were my homies who were helping me out, especially some of my family, like my mom and my dad and all that. But when I would analyze them and be like, okay, when the dark night hits, are they going to be on my side still? Or are they going to be here to help? And some of them, I remember I was on a mission to help some because they're on the borderline. Like when the dark night hits, you could see them start turning dark a little bit. And you're like, no, and you have to correct them. And then they started getting light. And I remember I was like, okay, I saved my mom. And then I looked at my friend and I'm thinking, we're in the hotel. So I'm like, okay, we got to like go around and we got to get the people that are safe, right? We were doing our mission work to get people and save people. And really it was just trying to get them to not turn dark when the dark night hits. So I remember there was just so many people who would turn dark. And we were in the hotel at this one point. This is near the end when I'm about to leave the arena. And I'm here and I have my sword with my friends. And there's a bunch of us and we're like, okay, we good. I remember I had a friend, his name was Paul. He was positive and he was in the dark night and he was positive. He was helping me fight and protect people from people that are in the dark night. But there were some friends that were his friend. He was so upset because he's like, why are my friends trying to kill me? And at that moment, I already had experience. Like at one point, my sister turned dark. The dark night hit her when it was the dark night. And I had to stab her in her back. And I locked myself in a room until the sun rose again. And I was sitting there. I was so emotional. I was like, I literally stabbed my sister in her back because she was in a dark night and I couldn't save her. The sun rose again. She was like, oh my God, the knife in her back and all that. And she had to heal. But then the dark night hit and I don't know where she was because we were somewhere else. But I just remember saying, what family can I trust when the dark night hits? Now think about that in the physical sense. Things are in chaos. Who can you trust when things get chaotic? Because some of your homies, you know, they hear what you know, but when things get chaotic, they out. Or they're on the side that's against you. And so I realized it was prepping me for this. And the only way I would have knew that is if I saw how the raptor arena came into play in the real life. So they always told me you're going to the arenas for training, but I thought it was just astral training. Well, when you get conscious, you mix the astral and the physical, and you're doing missions in the astral just as you do missions in the physical. And the realms mesh. So I didn't think that it would be like this, but this is, whoa. Every night we would get stronger. And it'd be in the day, everybody's having fun. And I remember at the third day out, I had my sword and I had my homies. And we were doing what we can while the sun was up. Because we're like, okay, once the dark night hits, we got shit to do. Who's gonna be on our side, who's not. Everybody that was fighting with me, the battalion we had, was everybody that was betrayed. And basically they had so much of their people turn against them when the dark night hit. So they're all like, who can I trust? Let me know if you guys have experience in the Astral Arena or if you maybe are thinking about doing something like this. Because I noticed I only go to the Astral Arena when it's needed. Because when I couldn't defeat the raptor being, I was like, I spent weeks. I was like, how can I defeat this thing? I don't know how to defeat it. And then it happened in real life and I realized I have to fight it indirectly. So then I basically defeat it. I defeated it in the physical because now I am defeating it, right? So then in the Astral Arena, we were like, okay, how can we do this with the people in the dark night? And I realized that's really what's going to happen and what's already been happening. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're going to make more like this, more about astral trips. Hope you guys enjoy the new year. See you guys real soon. Peace out.